Hey Forge fans, Anthony Urciuoli here, your digital host as part of the Forge Audio Network. Forge FC securing all 3 points in dominating fashion, beating FC Edmonton 3-0 at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. And in case there's any question as to how dominating the performance was, let me just read some stats off to you. Forge held 69% of the possession and hit the target with 6 of their 10 attempts. Edmonton was credited with 0 shot attempts. Forge made 657 passes to Edmonton's 297. Dominating. Not only did Forge take some of the pressure off with their first win of their young CPL season, striker Taryn Campbell, the big offseason acquisition, scored his first and second goals of the season in this match. His first goal came from the spot in the 34th minute. Keeper making the stop, but Campbell was able to follow it up on the rebound. Then Borges made a great run and delivered to Campbell, who made the pass across to Borges. That made it 2-0 Forge right before the half, and already Campbell's fingerprints were all over this game, and he wasn't done. There wasn't much of a push from Edmonton in that second half. Forge sealed the win in the 69th minute. Taryn Campbell again. He completes the brace, and Forge finished off the young Eddies squad. We will now bring in our Canadian Premier League analyst, former member of the Canadian national team, and NCAA player, League One player, Jessica Lisi joins us. Jess, we talked, at least before the game, when we talked about those 3 keys, trusting the process was a big one, and it's because the results haven't been there for Forge, but they thought the effort was clearly... This time they got the effort and the result.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do think they trusted the process. I think they came out really hot. They wanted that goal. They were going 100 miles an hour. Got a little sloppy. I think it was kind of forced at first. I think it was really good to be playing around the back, and they kept their composure. But that final pass was just a little sloppy at times. They're very eager to get that first goal. But obviously, as the half went on, the PK came, their composure came along with it. So I would say overall, they definitely trusted the process. They made the most of what was given to them, and they never backed off of whatever their plan was going in.
And I mean, from experience, you've played an attacking role for your career. And when you're playing against a team like Edmonton, who likes to play, I mean, they have to rely on their defensive game because they're young and they're at a bit of a disadvantage. So they rely on their shape, their patience. They look to beat you on the counter. How frustrating is it when you're an attacker and you're playing against a team that, parks the bus essentially?
It's extremely frustrating finding those gaps, making sure you're able to, you want to take your man on, but you also, again, don't want to force it. So I think the hardest part of being an attacker is you want to go, go, go. And, you do have to find that composure at times. Like I was saying, sometimes it was just forced. Even though it was the right idea, it's just at times you got to read the defense. So I think it's the most frustrating thing in the world when a team parks the bus. You try to find those gaps, you struggle. So I think overall they did well with it, though. I do think that, again, as the game went on, they were able to keep that composure, find the gaps, kind of play to feed instead of forcing it. And I think Edmonton started to really struggle with their attack.
Yeah, and it can be difficult, I would imagine, too, to, we talk about trusting the process, and, Forge has been trying to play the right way and not focus as much on the result, but it can be tough to play structurally when you're an attacker and you really want to break through and score a goal. But clearly the Forge showed some patience today. Taryn Campbell scored his first 2 goals for Forge, a guy that is relied on for his offense. Again, as an offensive player, when you're being relied on to score and they're just not coming, and it didn't in those first 2 matches for him, it's probably pretty easy to let frustration kind of settle in.
Oh, absolutely. I think you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. Everybody's relying on you. You got to get that goal. You got to finish. But I think he did really well. I think his movement was really good. Again, he showed a lot of grit. I think his second goal there, it was fantastic. Even though it's not the cleanest goal, his job was to get in the back of the net. He put everything he had into it, made sure his body got in front of it. So I think he didn't let his frustrations get the best of him this time, and it showed for sure.
And it's nice to kind of get the monkey off your back, just to get that first one, and you feel a little more loose after that, I would think.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And then the second one came. So now when you're And when you're out there and you're Forge, and obviously there's a lot expected of them. I mean, they've been champs 2 out of the 3 years. They made the final the other season. Um, when you're not winning, it can get frustrating. So even just from a psychological standpoint, getting that W, it, it's not just Taryn getting the monkey off its back. It's the whole club as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. I think, again, just like he was dealing with that, you're saying the monkey on his back, the whole team really had to deal with that, I think. And again, I think they did well with it considering sometimes that's the toughest thing. Coming in as an underdog is actually easier a lot of the times, and they obviously don't have that. Everyone expects them to be great. So definitely a super tough position to be in. But that's kind of when you just got to trust the process and really stick to your game plan and not kind of get caught up in the things that you can't control, because it's bound to happen that, things won't go your way, or going to make that bad pass, you'll miss, that PK or that free kick. So yeah, overall, I think they did well with it. So yeah.
Have you taken a lot of PKs in your career?
Yes, actually, that was one thing I actually enjoyed.
But what is your mentality going into a kick like that? I know everyone watching is just, do you go into that shot knowing what you want to do? Are you looking at the keeper at all, or do you kind of go in with a game plan and just stick to it?
I was one of those people that knew exactly what I was doing going in. I had my same corner. I never switched it up. Sometimes you psych yourself out. You're like, oh, they know I'm going right, so I'm going to go left. I never used to do that. I used to pick bottom left corner, strike it with power. I didn't try to finesse it, nothing like that. But there's a lot of pressure on you. There's not a lot of pressure on the goalie because it's kind of like, oh, no one expects them to stop it. But as a player, definitely feel the pressure of stepping up there, but I think going in with a plan helps. Don't kind of go up there and think, okay, I'm just gonna guess and do something. You kind of gotta, yeah, go in prepared, stay focused. Sometimes not look at the keeper, because sometimes there's that psych out. Um, you get psyched out by the keeper and all the commotion around you, and so yeah, I definitely think going in with a plan helps.
Yeah, and in Terran's case, I mean, he scored on the rebound, so that the keeper did make the first save.
Yeah,
That can be for a player, you're so focused on scoring. You've seen it before. Players sometimes forget about that second chance
yeah.
opportunity because they're so focused on that initial shot.
Yeah, his composure was really good after. I think again, you're right. Once you mess up that first shot, a lot of people kind of sit there with frustration instead of following up. So I think he did a fantastic job with not getting in his head and just, going through it, following up and finishing in a very composed manner. So yeah, I think he did really
All
well.
right. Jess Lisi, our CPL insider, thanks so much for the chat.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, let's hear from some of the coaches and the players post game. Now we're going to hear from Edmonton coach Alan Koch. He talked about his team's struggles against Forge in a pretty emphatic way.
If we're being brutally honest, which we should be, and we just were with the team, I think it was men against boys today. I think we looked timid. I think we looked anxious. Yeah, we knew we are going to have to come here and defend, but obviously when you defend, you hope to get the ball at some stage. And I thought we got the ball at strategic moments in the first half, but we gave it away way too easily. And then that just compounds the problem. You just defend and defend and defend. When that happens, eventually they're getting closer and closer to your goal. So yeah, a little bit disappointing from that perspective. A lesson, but with the young group like we have and what we're going to go through, we're going to go through lessons. This will not be the last game that we'll have like this year. But we want to learn from them. We want to grow from it.
Now, on the flip side, Forge coach Bobby Smirniotis was happy with the full 90 that his club put in. He was also thrilled to see Campbell's name show up all over the score sheet.
One thing Edmonton has shown in the first couple of games is they get points. They know how to be in games and they know how to make things difficult on their opponents. That's what they did in the first two games. So sometimes these are the toughest ones because perception doesn't translate to what you need to do on the pitch. You need to stick to what you need to do. In the first half, I thought Edmonton was very good. They sat in a very deep block, a little deeper than we thought. We had planned on just based on their last two games. So you needed the moments to get in behind. You needed to be a little bit sharper, and that always makes things a little difficult and open to the counterattack. Those are the vulnerabilities of the game. But credit to the guys, they stuck to what we talked about and needed a lot of patience in this match. And when you're able to get the goals in this game, that opens things up. And I think that's what happened in the second half. We were able to open the lines. We changed our formation a little bit in the second half just to be able to keep a lot better possession, keep our guys a little bit more static in places, and then also watch for the transitions. And I think that helped us a lot. We created a lot of high quality opportunities in the second half. We've only scored one more, but happy all around with the performance.
Bit of a coming out party for Campbell in front of the home fans here. Is that pretty much what you expected when you joined the club?
Yeah, Campbell's going to score a lot of goals here. That's the one thing I am sure of. Whether they come now, they come a little bit later, they come one game at a time. He's the guy in the box. And that's what he does. And he scored a goal in the second half by being in the right place. And, he's put one on a platter for Borges by being in the right place and making those right runs, those vertical runs in the box that are very important for us with all of the ball movement we have. So I'm happy for him because obviously for a striker, you want to have that success and feel the back of the net. And that keeps the momentum going forward.
Now, Campbell was brought in to score, and he delivered in front of the hometown fans.
Yeah, it felt good. It's always nice to score goals, but for me and I think the rest of the guys, it was nice to get 3 points today.
Yeah, the team really started fast and maintained that throughout the match without getting complacent. Was that the message before the match? Just play the full 90?
Yeah, we knew today was an important game for us. Haven't gotten 3 points yet out of our first two matches. So we wanted to come out strong today, come out on the front foot, and I think we showed that with our performance.
And it's Edmonton prides itself on the defense and on their shape. And do you feel like that first goal really just kind of opened things up?
Yeah, I think it just calmed everyone down a bit. I'm not sure what minute the goal came in, but it took a bit of time. I think once we finally got that goal, we kind of settled into things and just played our game.
All right, Forge fans, next up is a trip to Winnipeg. Forge FC taking on Valor FC at IG Field on Sunday, May 1st. Kickoff is at 2 o'clock.